Okay, we're done.
Hello to all our lovely audience joining from all over the world. My name is Zinat Islam and I'm the Relations Manager Academia Network at UNIS Center. We are delighted to be collaborating with 6 African universities for co-hosting Social Business Day 2022 and doing a mix of live and online events. A very warm welcome to those at our YSBC campuses joining via video feed. The session now is one of the 3 sessions being organized by our YSBCs focusing on the topic of 3 zeros, on poverty, unemployment, and climate change. So now we welcome you to our plenary session on the topic of fighting unemployment through social business in Africa by Makaro University Business School. I now introduce the moderator, Professor Joseph M. Nitai, PhD, Dean, Faculty of Economics, Energy and Management Sciences at Makaro University Business School. I request the moderator to please introduce the speakers and ensure this session is completed within the assigned time. Bells will ring at 3 minutes and 5 minutes mark for each speaker, so please ensure the conversation ends on time. Thank you very much, and now we can start the session. I call upon our moderator to start the session. Professor Nitai.
Thank you very much for introducing me, and I would like to take this opportunity to...
Professor Nitai, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me? Hello?
We are unable to hear you. Are you able to hear us? Would you kindly start?
We can hear you.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perhaps,
thank you very much.
He's unable to hear us or the sound is not going through, but let's try a little bit longer.
Zinat, we can hear him.
Are you hearing me now?
Professor
Yes.
Joseph Nitai, can you?
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please continue.
Right, I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much for your introductory remarks. And I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all members, both physical and virtual, to the second day of the Social Business Day. Special thanks go to the UNIS Center, Global Hub for Social Business, for organizing the Social Business Day under the theme, Building a New Civilization Before the Current Civilization Destroys Us. Certainly, this is a relevant topic. And this morning, I have 5 speakers who will be speaking to us. And this session is fighting unemployment through social business in Africa. 3 are physical, while 2 are virtual. I'll begin by introducing the members who are present. And I want to start with on my extreme right. We have Professor Waswa Balunywa, and Professor Waswa Balunywa is currently the principal of Makaro University Business School, and he has been teaching in the university for over 30 years, primarily in the area of business, administration, accounting, finance, and management. His CV is quite long, and in the interest of time, let me just say that Professor Balunywa is a researcher and is also a social entrepreneur and works with the members of his family to support vulnerable women, youth, especially the girl child in his community. And the Balunywa Foundation, of which he's a director, is trying to put girls who have been denied education into schools. Welcome, Professor Waswa Balunywa.
Thank you very much, Professor Ntai, and very good morning to all of you on the call.
Thank you. And next to him is Rehman Kasule. And Rehma Kasule is a social innovator and entrepreneur, youth and gender development expert, and she is a speaker, private sector. She's a speaker and a private sector development consultant. She's a mentor and international awards winner. Still in the interest of time, let me possibly add one small thing. Her CV is also quite long. Rehma Kasule is a founder of CIDA International in Uganda, and the USA, and a senior fellow of the Harvard Advanced Leadership Initiative, focusing on the future of work. She's a civil society champion, social innovator, and serial entrepreneur who started her first business, Century Marketing, at 26 years. Welcome, Rehma Kasule.
Thanks for having me, and a great pleasure to be here today.
Next to her is Makaro Mohammed. Makaro Mohammed is a recognized public health expert carrying out COVID-19 sensitization on behalf of the district task force on radios, TVs, social media, and general community awareness. He presents on 6 national TV talk shows, 15 radio talk shows, and on social media. And he has inspired youth leaders to focus on their careers with primary health care. And he has provided mentorship to them to achieve their ambition. Welcome, Mr. Makaro Mohammed.
Thank you so much.
Virtually, we have 2 people who will be speaking. Dr. Catherine Moganda. And Dr. Catherine Moganda is a lecturer of Management Science, School of Business and Economics, and the former Deputy Director at Kampala International Office and alumni, Moi University, Kenya. She holds a PhD in strategic management, specializing in entrepreneurship and social issues in business. Welcome, Dr. Catherine Moganda.
Thank you very much.
Online, with another speaker, we have another speaker, Rosetta Haig. And Rosetta Haig is a Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Grameen Telecom Trust Digital Healthcare Solutions. Rosetta Haig has been working in the healthcare industry for 30 years, both in Bangladesh and the USA. She has work experience in both the fields of marketing and finance, and holds 2 MBA degrees focusing on those subject matters. Her CV is very, very long, and I'll just stop at that in the interest of time. Welcome, Rosetta Haig.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be part of this panel.
Thank you very much. In this session, each presenter or each speaker will be given 5 minutes to make his or her points on the subject that is before us. Maybe I should say the session name is Fighting Unemployment Through Social Business in Africa. And the speakers today will be telling us whether social business can actually create jobs, and how social business can actually, how social business can practically result into those specific jobs. And then they will answer the question, how can jobs and employment opportunities be created by social business? And what are the practical ways social business can support employment and job creation? I'll ask the speakers to use 5 minutes and not to go beyond 5 minutes. I will begin with Professor Wasra Balunywa. You have 5 minutes to make your presentation. Please go on.
Hope I can be heard. Today, of course, the biggest problem we have in our midst is poverty. And to address poverty means we must give people incomes. And for people to have incomes, it means they must have something to do. What is happening right now is that the globalization is bringing business to the forefront, and that there is need for people to get involved into business activity to be able to generate an income so that you can address the issues of poverty. So this is the only way in which you'll be able to generate income in our midst. But what is happening globally is that the current civilization, if I use the Professor Muhammad used words, is killing us. You cannot compete with the big companies, the Coca-Colas and the others. So what do you need to do? You need to find a way in which to support people in a modest manner with social objectives. If we are all happy, I think it makes sense. That doesn't make sense if a few people have a lot of wealth and they leave behind, barbed wire and fences, and yet the majority of people are out there poor. Therefore, it's important that we look at social goals as an objective. And besides that, the African society is collectivist. We tend to look after the health of our relatives, our neighbors, our old people, and therefore the concept of business from the social perspective becomes much easier to explore than what we see at the moment. Because definitely in Africa, we will not be able to compete with the multinationals to play the same ground with them unless if something really happens. And so today we have social entrepreneurs, we have philanthropists who are giving back to society to be able to improve society. So it's important to be able to pursue profit, but the distribution of that profit should be able to serve a bigger role in society than simply somebody taking it away. So if people can go into business, but knowing and remembering that they must be able to assist those who are unable to, then that is the concept of social business. And what I see in our countries today, that is the only viable thing to do, because the rest of the businesses that are out there making profit, well, they take it away. When the multinationals declare their profit, what do? They definitely remit it to their countries. So it's important that we develop a certain degree of social business in our country to be able to address the issues of poverty in our midst. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Waswa Balunywa, for your presentation. Right now, we've been joined by Professor Yunus Mohammed. And Professor Yunus Mohammed, you're welcome, and thank you very much for this initiative. I have a message for you, Professor Yunus Mohammed, and since today is your birthday, we are going to sing for you a song. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday to
You.
Happy
birthday to you.
Happy
birthday, dear Professor.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted.
Professor Yunus, we have a social message for you.
Good.
Happy birthday, Mohammed. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Mohammed.
Professor Yunus Mohammed.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to request you to make your opening remarks, and thereafter we shall be showing you a social message.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm delighted to be with you this morning here. It's a very important occasion. And you started out with the birthdays music. Thank you for giving me this honor of listening to the birthday music on my birthday. Thank you so much for organizing it. This session would be about unemployment, how fighting unemployment is possible. An issue that I have been raising, and I want to share it with you, that unemployment is an artificial creation by our wrong thinking, wrong way of designing our policies and institutions. The issue that I always emphasize, that all human beings are born as entrepreneur, not as job seeker. Job seeking is a wrong livelihood for any human being. Job turns people into the path of slavery, working for somebody else for a living. That's not the way human beings are born on this planet, ever since we are on this planet. So we said that the real human being is full of enormous creative capacity, and that creative capacity is expressed through entrepreneurship. But the reason that people cannot express that entrepreneurship is not because it's lacked in the human being, just because the institutional facilities are not available. Particularly, I focus on the financial system. I said the finance is the oxygen of entrepreneurship. If you don't have the finance, your mind doesn't work in an entrepreneurial way, because it's useless to do that, because you are not thinking of doing something which is not possible to do because finance is not there. So I said that first we have to reorganize the whole financial system. And that's what we did by bringing microcredit into the picture and create an alternative banking system where it's not dependent on collateral, because the entire banking system is based on collateral, and lawyers get into the picture, tie you up, everything. And as a result, many people in the world disqualify to take the finance. That's where they become the victims of unemployment. They cannot express themselves, their creative capacity in doing so. So I said, first thing to do is to reorganize the banking system so that finance is available for every single human being. No question asked. It's not there's no question of being eligible for borrowing. Everybody by birth is eligible to finance. And once the finance is available, then you are tempted, you are easily led to the creation of enterprises, and that you want to think. And that also another thing is not only the finance part that I emphasize, also the education part I emphasize. And we are now sitting in our educational institutions. And in our educational institutions, what we do, we teach our young people to become eligible, to become befitting to the job that they'll be looking for. So that we make them job-ready young people. I said, that's a shame that we make young people who are ready to create enterprises. Now they are being trained to accept a job and surrender all their creative capacity. The job and creative capacity don't coexist, because if you take one, you lose the other. So we are losing our creative capacity by taking the job. And instead, we should be training our young people how to become entrepreneurs. At least there'll be two streams in education, and it'll be the choice of the young people to choose which path they want to go. So that's the entrepreneurship which should be built in our academic system and so on. So these are the 2 points that I wanted to share with you, because you'll be discussing this during the panel. And thank you for inviting me to make my remarks. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Professor Yunus, for those very interesting remarks and very educative and informative. Professor, before you log off, we've got a cultural activity that we'd like to show you.
Okay.
In a minute, we'll be there, Professor.
Okay.
Wabawo obuzibu. Uganda eyasirana. Tussa okubala kw'obuzibu Uganda bweyolekedde. Obutonde bw'ensi busaanawo. Obwavu. Abavubuka basaanawo. Tukole ki? Obudde bukaye mwangu twekembe mbanange kano kabate mbanange kano kabate obudde bukaye mwangu twekembe mbanange kano kabate tunulire ebitonde bya Uganda bama bisanawo yeka zikoletya Otunulira abaana ba Uganda mama timo mitalu abaana bazaye notunulira abaana b'obuwala nga beetuuse munange banoonya nsimbi notunulira abaana babulenzi bafuwanjaga banange pulabikola eryo yekati nkole ntya mama abalungi bannange yekati nkole ntya otunulira omwana w'omuwala munnange nga yeetuuse kakati n'owulira ennaku notunulira omwana mama w'obulenzi ng'ali ku ddagala afuwa munnange n'owulira ennaku
Yeah, Professor Yunus, that song that you've just heard, it concerns unemployment and what can be done to try and solve unemployment problem.
Okay.
Professor, I hope you have enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you so much for presenting it.
Thank you very much, our cultural group. Professor will continue with the discussions. We have received a presentation from Professor Waswa Balunywa, and now would like to move to the second presenter. And the second presenter is Rehma Kasule. Over to you, Rehma Kasule. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Professor Yunus, happy birthday and great to see you. We met way back in 2009 when President Obama invited us to Washington, DC. I still have that picture.
Okay.
But what can I say? My name is Rehema Kasule and I was born a village girl, but I refused to become a village woman. And that's where I draw my purpose and my passion to support women so that we break the intergenerational cycles of poverty. My career trajectory hasn't been the traditional one. By 24, I quit my job and started my own business. And that's what I teach people. I teach young people to become job creators, to become entrepreneurs. But for me today, to speak about social entrepreneurship, I want to focus on 3 things. 1, the self-awareness. Secondly, social awareness. And thirdly, social change. How can we empower young people in Africa who make up to more than 75% of the population to be part of that social change, to become the social entrepreneurs that we are going to look at? And when I talk about social entrepreneurship, what I see for sure and what I know for sure is that young people cannot survive and thrive in a vacuum. We need to create an ecosystem where they can thrive. And that ecosystem starts with all of us. And the private sector has a major role to play to create that ecosystem. And this is part of the work I do at Harvard as a fellow. I focus on the future of work because I know that if we don't change the demographics, and you've had the statistics, 48% unemployment. We need to change that. And I'm going to share only 3 strategies on how we can do that. Number 1 is we need to reform the education system. Universities are churning out young people to come to the world which is not prepared to have them. What do I mean by transformation? I mean reshaping the whole. We can't be talking about social entrepreneurship in schools. We need to be in the field. That's where young people are going to learn, in the field, not in classrooms. That's number 1. And I strongly believe that the greatest injustice facing Africa is not unemployment. It's the education system that doesn't empower them to be leaders and creators and entrepreneurs. That's number 1. Number 2 is about communication and storytelling. I know for sure that for you to be a social entrepreneur, you need to tell your story. And I've seen this. I'm a judge at the Harvard Business School, and I see young entrepreneurs with brilliant ideas, but they can't sell the idea to get an investment. So we need to teach young people to tell their stories, to create those 2 narratives. And that brings me to my 3rd point about case studies. Professor Balunywa, we are here. We need to move from research to action. Today, a young person will learn when they see a case study by another young person. So we need to document those case studies so that young people have a blueprint to follow. I remember 2010, when I wrote my book, From Gomba to the White House, one leader who I admire a lot in this country told me, what are you telling young people? You don't have money. And I told him, I don't have to have millions of people, shillings to give on a message. I can use my voice to inspire and educate young people. So really, what am I asking everyone? It doesn't matter where you are. Your background will not shape your destiny. You have the power to design the future you want. Lastly, and most importantly, we need to think about this as an ecosystem. We need to have a systems thinking mindset. Collaboration. We have no choice. We need to stop the silos. We need to break them and work together. The private sector, the government, the academia, we all need to work together to galvanize efforts towards social entrepreneurship. I'll leave you with an African proverb. In Africa, we say that if you walk alone, you go fast. When you take others, you go far. So if we really need to catalyze development in Africa, we need to collaborate. We need to have a collective voice and speak together and inspire young people to walk the stairs that we've climbed for many years. Thank you so much and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Rehma, for your presentation centered around self-awareness, social awareness, and social change. Ladies and gentlemen, I will invite a 3rd speaker to make his speech. Mr. Mohammed Makaro, please go on. 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes.
So much. I'm Makaro Mohammed, and to the baby of the day, happy birthday. We send you happy birthday from Igang as young people, and we want to say you inspired us so much the day we met in the same place where we are. And these rappers reminds you that you promised to become a rapper. So we want to remind you this on your birthday so that maybe you can pick up on that. About social business, I want to start with 2 things. Human beings are social beings. We are created as social animals. The second is about social contract. We are created with that purpose of doing good to the community. Then the last one, maybe I'll remind ourselves, is an African, which is Ubuntu. You are because I am. So in 256, we decided to look at young people, not just as a number, because we are always praised as young people and being the majority. But if you analyze young people, we are the most lamenting, we are the most unskilled, we are the most like wrong in the attitude, the way we think. And it's not a mistake. It's because the communities have defined a young person like that. We have been given school fees, food. The community has given us a lot that at times we forget that we can do something. So for us, we decided in Nigang to say we are going to call ourselves +256 because that's the code of Uganda. We wanted the young person to feel, I own this country because I'm the majority. But that's not enough. So we asked ourselves, what can we do to address the challenges in our communities? So we decided to use everything that we have to encourage ourselves, to mentor ourselves, to look for resources, because resources are everywhere. So we have been doing boxing, rapping, kickboxing, and we found out the only way we can change the lamentation in this country and the continent of Africa is to think of how we turn everything we do into business. And when we started learning about business, we found out most people are doing business because they wanted to become rich. So you find like, again, people have money, they have been mean that even the people they employ, they don't give them enough because they want to keep them victim so that they keep on working. So we found out like social entrepreneurship is the best. How does social entrepreneurship help to curb the unemployment? As Professor said in his quote, that unemployment is an artificial creation of our mind where we think we don't have jobs. You can get money in everything you're doing if you decide. The question is, are you making profits or you want to support your community? So currently we are running a business venture called School Fees Shop, where girls in schools, because of COVID, they decided to say, let's learn how to make art and craft, then create shops in our schools and sell these products. Right now we have 15 girls who are paying their school fees because of selling jumpers, making table tires, and these items are paying their school fees. The audience here, physically and those online, you shouldn't wait to impact 10 people. Start with 2, start with yourself, because social entrepreneurship will give you the best ground to practice, because social entrepreneurship is the same as other business. We do marketing, we do customer care, we align our businesses. So this is a good ground because you'll not be earning for profit. So young people can take this as a good ground to learn how to do business, and they can make sustainable business, make profit, and reinvest in others so that the business is growing to benefit the community. I want to end with this quotation. You start to perish the day you stay silent about the things that matter in your community. So many people have told you like, angry people are not sleeping because they're angry, and rich people are not sleeping because angry people are not sleeping. So don't perish because you're not willing to share. Start something to earn a living, but also give another person an opportunity to learn how to make a business. Thank you so much. I'm so happy for this session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makaro Mohammed, for your presentation, centering around social contracts and Ubuntu. We shall now move to Dr. Catherine Muganda. You have 5 minutes. Please go on and make your presentation.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Professor Mohammed. Happy birthday. It's the first time that I'm meeting the entire panel. I'm from Moi University, Kenya. Social business is what I can say is doing business by maximizing on profit, but solving social problems, solving social issues. What are these social issues? These social issues, one is climate change, there's poverty, and there's unemployment. One of the major objectives of social enterprises is job creation, creating employment. And now that, because today this is our theme and sub-theme, how do we define unemployment? Unemployment is defined as someone currently available for work. It means somebody who's available for work, somebody who's seeking work, and somebody without work. So if you look at these three definitions, then social enterprise in real sense can really mend and even curb unemployment. So we're saying that social entrepreneurship or social enterprises plays a vital role in employment. So more jobs can be created by having a valuable chain. For example, you can have an enterprise, and from that enterprise, you can integrate either horizontally or vertically. Another way to expand these enterprises is by diversification, either related products or unrelated products. And lastly, yearning labor intensity. And when you do that, you're creating more jobs for the youth, you're creating more jobs for the women in the society. Now, across Africa, there are around 60% of youth who are unemployed. Yeah, and this is worrying. But the best answer for this, and especially in this session, is social entrepreneurship. So it is a high chance for social entrepreneurs to value the youth, to create jobs for the youth. And how can they do this? Number one is to employ the youth, give internship to the youth, mentor the youth. And when we talk about mentoring, is especially when we have accelerators, business ventures, please invite the youth to these ventures so that they can learn and maybe participate in giving out services to the society. I'll give an example with the Kenyan perspective. Like here in Kenya, we have legislation or laws that govern procurement and says 30% of items to be procured, it needs to go to the youth, you see. And when African countries can do that, then they're embracing the youth, they're giving activities to the youth. And what are they doing? They're creating jobs to the youth. Another way to create jobs to the youth is by matching and even business growth. And when I say business growth here is by what I said earlier, integration and diversification. And when we do this, we're creating jobs to the youth. And lastly, is about training this youth. And what do I mean by training? You know, the youth, the ecosystem for the young people is worrying, okay? So, and with that, it's presenting both risks and opportunities. And when that's the case, we need to train this youth. And what do I mean by training? Training here in this case, is giving business knowledge to the youth. And I will narrow down because of time. We have 5 orientation. We have 5 entrepreneurial orientation. We have innovation and creativity. We have risk-taking propensity. We have autonomy. We have competitive aggressiveness. And lastly, we have, I'm forgetting the last one. But with these 5 entrepreneurial orientation, when we present to the youth, yes, they will venture into the business. They will be visionaries, they will be creative, and in many sense, or many times, you'll see their businesses expanding. And when they expand, they will create more jobs, okay? I have a parting shot. And I will invite this parting shot from this social entrepreneur, Nasreen Sheikh, who says, you as a youth, know yourself, go deeper, find out who you are. And when you find out yourself, who you are, then you'll passionately be service to everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Catherine Moganda, for your presentation. And for the members who are attending virtually and physically, please put together your questions and supplements, because we'll be having a session for a question and answer, which will take 10 minutes. Let's move to our last presenter. That is Rosetta Haig. Rosetta Haig, over to you, and you have 5 minutes to make your presentation.
Thank you very much. I was listening to all the presenters that went before me, and the one theme that I come away with is basically entrepreneurship and social responsibility, combining the two. So I wanted to sort of highlight my life experiences in my speech, but first of all, I wanted to basically say that one of the most effective tools for tackling unemployment is entrepreneurship, as you have already mentioned. And social business model heavily promotes entrepreneurship. As a staunch believer in social business and someone with a long history in healthcare, I wanted to focus my attention by connecting the two premises, basically. So quality healthcare, we know, is a universal human right, but unfortunately, low patient-to-doctor ratio and underdeveloped healthcare infrastructure makes it hard to ensure primary quality health and tertiary care, especially in rural and semi-urban communities. This is exactly the gap that may be addressed through social business specializing in digital healthcare. Grameen Digital Health is the entity that I work for, is part of a value chain being set up by Professor Yunus in Bangladesh, which basically tends to connect people that cannot get to a hospital or get to a doctor physically, but through telemedicine. So that's the aim of our organization. And digital healthcare aims to deliver quality care through technology, but due to lower literacy and adoption of smartphone and internet amongst rural communities, they remain underserved. Here, I think we can engage the youth to play a vital role to fill this gap by becoming healthcare entrepreneurs. These healthcare entrepreneurs can generate their income by investing in social goods and services, such as assisted telemedicine service, whereby lower literacy and less technologically advanced communities can reap the benefits of virtual care. With the advancement in portable point-of-care diagnostics, they can also make testing and screening more easily available. Finally, community healthcare workers have already proven to be a very effective channel for essential medicine and other healthcare products like hygiene, contraceptives, childcare, etc. I know that in Uganda, especially BRAC and Good Life, I think they initiated some measures or to put community health workers in the field just for this very purpose. So these models have started already yielding considerable social impact around the globe. The critical success factors for healthcare social business in Africa would be policies that will encourage more African startups and attract foreign direct investment in digital healthcare sector. There could be tax breaks, other government incentives, and of course, access to social business financing for local healthcare entrepreneurs that Professor Yunus was talking about. Financing should be made available to anybody who has the capability to think entrepreneurially and make a case for a business. And I'm just basically talking about the healthcare sector where I have experience. So basically, my whole premise behind my speech is that there's a famous saying. I think we're all born free, but everywhere we're in chains. So we need to sort of like break that shackle and think for ourselves, like Rehma was saying. Thank you for that. I mean, I think that was very inspirational. We really do need to train or educate our young people to think outside the box. And like I said, it doesn't really take very much.
Wind up your presentation, Rosetta.
Oh, sure. Okay. So basically, it doesn't take really too much to sort of like start a revolution of this nature, you know, word of mouth, social media, it all adds up. So in conclusion, I just wanted to say that I wish all of you all the best, and happy birthday, Professor Yunus. It's really good to have you here. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rosetta Hegg, for your presentation. Time is not elastic, and we seem to be coming to the end of our discussion. And now we go to the question and the answer. I will take only two questions. One, virtual. Where do we start? Virtual, any question? Or we go physical first? Physical, anybody with a question or an observation? Please.
If there are no questions, are there any questions?
Oh, there's somebody that is asking a question. I think you are not being heard. Can you repeat, please?
You. My name is David Luganda, and I'm the team lead of UNEP Ebafosa Uganda. Actually, I was talking of climate change and its effects. I'm a social practitioner. I have 2 companies which I'm working with, but all my products which I produce were affected by the change in rains and also change in season. So as we work, we need to prosper, but also other external factors affecting us. So we need to also put that in consideration. Another issue is mindset change for the youth. We shall talk that the youth don't have jobs, they don't want to work, but we need to guide them so that, and also mentor them so that they understand the world has changed. Even if you have done business administration, you can add on other enterprises and in your community, like adding value on agro products in your community so that you can get a job and also provide others jobs. This can come through the leveraging on existing platforms like Yuri, Mobs, and also others.
Can you wind up, please? Thank you very much. I think we've taken your comments. Unfortunately, I will not take a second comment from the audience. Can we take another comment virtually? Virtual comment or question? We don't seem to be having any other question or comment virtually. I think now I'll give an opportunity to present to the presenters to just make a statement in just 5 seconds. I'll begin with the Professor Waswabalunywa. Your comment, please.
Discussion on how social business can really help in employment, but I think it's going to be a very slow, long, drawn-out process where we need people to be sensitized about it, and it's mainly the youth to be sensitized about it. And for me, if me as a social entrepreneur, I work on a variety of people and they can start their own businesses in terms of their unemployment, I would have achieved. And this is what we do outside the institution with my family members. We try to empower young girls and women to see that they're able to earn something out of their own effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Waswabalunywa. Rehma Kasule.
Hear me? Thank you very much. To the gentleman, I think, yes, we need mindset change among our young people. But this is what I'll tell you, the message to young people. when the beat of the drum changes, so must the step of your dance. So we can't say the government is going to create an employment for young people. And I'll repeat that. The government will not create employment for you. It's up to you to use your capital, your social capital, the networks around you will create your net worth. And secondly, the capital, your creativity, the courage, the inner human capital you have is what is going to liberate you. So don't ask for capital, use the capital you have. You have an education, that's the beginning, make that education work for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rehma. Unfortunately, we cannot continue. We've run out of time. And I want to thank all the presenters, both virtual and physical, for the great job and the presentations you've made, which are really very, very good. And I would like to take this opportunity again to thank the UNIS Center for organizing this discussion under the theme of fighting, under the topic of fighting unemployment through social business in Africa. I would like to hand over the session to Zinat Islam. Over to you, Islam.
Thank you very much. This has been a great conversation, and we appreciate your presence to all the audience members, speakers, and moderator. Thank you very much. We have many more sessions for today, and please join us in our upcoming session, Building a Poverty-Free Africa. We will now connect to that session. So through the lobby, you'll connect to that sessions. Thank you very much. Ms. Monica Muririwa from Catholic University of Zimbabwe, please take it over. Thank you. Let's join the session, Plenary 8.